Hunter Biden's ex-wife may be called to testify. He's now scheduled for a trial. And isn't it interesting that his trial is now scheduled for September 5th, 2024? Just a couple months away from the election. That'll be very curious to see how the country reacts to this trial. This is now all coming to a head. And this was rigged from the very beginning. Remember that Hunter had basically convinced the DOJ not to prosecute him at all. They were just going to decline charges. And then they were going to bring out some sort of essentially a diversion deal. Then he was going to plead guilty and kind of have this immunity deal. And he just threw a hissy fit. And the judge really set the case for trial. If he's not going to plead guilty, well, here we are. We've got trial. And so September 5th is coming up. A slight delay. It was scheduled for earlier, but when they were in court very recently, the judge postponed it. Now, the tax charges have been moved, unfortunately, to September 5th after the judge presiding over the case made Biden's attorney promise he would not seek further delays. Ooh, we going to have Hunty Poo on trial before the election? That'll be fun. In asking for a delay in the case, Hunter's lawyer, we know who he is, Abby Lowell, an attorney for Biden, cited issues with discovery, witnesses, obtaining experts, as well as the upcoming trial on federal gun crimes in Delaware, which is currently set for June 3rd. Now, Hunter Biden, the son of President Joe Biden, has been accused of engaging in tax avoidance conspiracy for years, lavish lifestyle, drugs, guns, pictures, hookers, the whole thing. He has pleaded not guilty to all charges. Now, the efforts to delay the gun trial in Delaware, those have repeatedly failed, and he waived his appearance at today's court. Now, the time to try this case is now, said the prosecutor, Leo Weiss. He says, I reject that zealously. Representing a client is a delaying tactic, says Abby Lowell. They said there's just a lot of noise around this case, but that doesn't make it complex, says the government. It's just a case against an individual taxpayer. The volume of exhibits is not massive. It's just tax documents. In this court, they said, we like to set schedules and keep them, said the judge, Judge Mark Scarsi. In a ruling that the trial date will be moved to September, he says the needs of the defendant outweigh the prejudice in moving it. So trial gets moved. We'll see if it stays on there in September. But what we do know is that the government is getting ready. And so let's dive into this brief and see what they are going to prepare. And this is from 520 out of the District of Delaware, back in Joe Biden's backyard. As the election is ramping up, the government's preparing for a trial for his son. Now, this is the same guy, David Weiss, same special counsel who was behind the rigged deal in the first place. So they say the defendant, this is a prosecutor speaking, Robert Hunter Biden, they say, chose to lie on a federal background check form required for the purchase of a firearm. You know, that is the form 4473. Hunter went in there. He said, I like to buy a firearm. I'm a real tough guy, you know, by falsely stating, because Hunter thought he was kind of like a gangster or something. I don't know what his thing was. That's like what I think he thought he was. He had scales with his crack on it and all sorts of stuff. So he thought he's a real hard, tough guy. All right. So he says he went in, I'm going to buy a gun, fills out the form. He falsely stated, are you an unlawful user of a controlled substance on that form? You know, you check that box and no, all the way down. No, substance or an addict. And when in fact he was both. So he lied. And by lying, he was able to illegally buy a gun on October 12, 2018. And he chose to illegally possess that firearm until it was taken from his possession on August 23rd, 2018. Trump's in the White House. Now, Hunter is charged in a 3-count indictment violating various statutes for making a false statement during a background check. So he filled out the form incorrectly to deceive a firearms dealer. And he also made a false statement on a background check form that the firearms dealer was required to maintain. And he also had illegal possession of a firearm in count 3. Now, the trial was scheduled for June 3rd on that one. The other one, I think, got bumped to September. So we do have a June trial, I think, is where this one is currently scheduled for. Now, this trial brief sets forth the elements that the government will prove at trial. So what are they going to drop on us? Now, it's also going to summarize some of the evidence the government will use to do so. They say, here's the law. Now, in order to find the defendant, Hunter, guilty of count 1, here's what we got to prove. And we often talk about these as checkboxes. And so when you think about this related to some of the Trump trials we're covering here, like, for example, the Alvin Bragg case, we don't have anything like this. You know, we don't have a list of ingredients that you have to get in order to bake the crime. So they tell us, okay, first, that the seller was a licensed dealer. Now, that the defendant made a false statement. So Hunter made a false statement, went in there, said something or wrote something wrong. Third, the defendant knew the statement was false. So we break this down. We talk about mens rea and actus reus. So this is a mental state. He knew it was a knowing crime, and then he took an act. He made a false statement. And what was the false statement intended to do? To deceive the seller, right? You had intent to deceive the seller. Now, Hunter has agreed to stipulate that the firearm charged in the indictment was a firearm. So we don't have to debate that. They don't have to prove this. While acquiring a firearm, yeah, it's a gun. Don't Don't have to prove it's a gun. Don't have to bring an expert in to qualify it's a gun. It's a gun. Okay, we got it. And they've also agreed to stipulate that the dealer was a licensed dealer. You know, it was a gun store. Don't need to fight that either. But that leaves 3 issues for trial with respect to count 1. So we have to get into this now. Whether Hunter made a false statement when he filled out the form. Was he using the drugs or not? Whether Hunter knew that the statement was false, and whether the false statement was material to the sale. So in other words, if Hunter would have said, yes, I'm a crackhead, would they have sold him a gun? Answer, no. But they'll need evidence of that. That's just for count 1. Now count 2. In order to find Hunty guilty of this offense, the jury must find that the government proved each of the 4 elements here beyond a reasonable doubt. Similarly, defendant Hunty knowingly made a statement or representation in the same form, that Hunter made the statement to a federally licensed firearm dealer, that the representation was false, and that Hunty knew that the statement was untrue when he made the statement. So slightly different elements, but largely the same. Now, because Hunter agreed to stipulate that yes, he had a license, and because we don't have to worry about materiality as we do in count 1, that only leaves these 2 issues, which are identical to the same as above. So we'll fast forward. Count 3. In order to find the Hunter guilty of this offense, here's what we've got to prove now. Possession of a firearm by a drug user or a drug addict. So here's what you got to prove. Hunter was an unlawful user of a controlled substance, and that is crack cocaine. Kind of a big one, you know. Now, Hunter also knowingly possessed a firearm. That is a Colt Cobra 38 special revolver with this serial number while he was a crackhead. So crack and gun. And third, at the time that Hunter knowingly possessed the firearm, he knew he was an unlawful user of the crack. And fourth, the firearm was transported across a state line at some time during or before Hunter's possession of it. Now, as noted, Hunter agreed to stipulate on the firearm. We know it's a gun. The defendant agreed to stipulate the firearm was transported across a state line at some point before Hunter got it. And so that leaves these only issues here. Whether Hunter was either one of the following. He was either an unlawful user of a controlled substance or he was a drug addict. And whether he knowingly possessed a firearm and whether that he knew he was an unlawful user as well while he possessed the firearm. So we now know what the elements are. Those are the check boxes. Pretty simple. We don't have those in the Alvin Bragg case because they don't even know what those are. Now, all counts instructions regarding unlawful user and drug addict. They give us some explanation here. They say the court should also instruct the jury. What are the definitions? They say unlawful user of a controlled substance. They say use those terms as they're used in the statutes. The government proposed a jury instruction utilized by the 8th Circuit. We provided it here. They say the phrase unlawful user of a controlled substance means if you use a substance in a manner other than as prescribed by a physician. So that's, makes sense. You're using off-label. For example, you could be using a prescription drug without a prescription. So you don't have the prescription, but it is technically a prescription drug that maybe came from a pharmacy, just not your prescription. So that's not for you. The defendant must be actively engaged in the use of this during the time of the possession. The use is not limited to the use of drugs on a particular day, but whether it's recent enough. An inference that they're actively engaged can be drawn. Now, the term drug addict means someone habitually uses this substance so as to endanger themselves or the health, safety, or welfare of others. Now, this instruction is based on the Treasury Department on its gun regulations. The 8th Circuit has also approved this definition. We know that the government, in order to prove this, must show some temporal nexus. So the possession of the gun is on one axis and the drug use is on another axis, and we're trying to find where there's a cross in time. But the government is not required that they have to be at the same time. In other words, that he possessed the gun while he was high on crack. Don't have to prove that exactly, just as long as there's an overlap. Rather, it's sufficient that the government demonstrate that the use of a controlled substance during the period of time that he possessed the gun. So we filed a motion to stop the defense team from arguing, suggesting that the government must show that he used the substance on the day of the purchase of the gun. So the defense is now trying to make it very narrow. No, he's like, you got to be smoking a crack pipe when you go into the gun store. And then they're like, okay, that's illegal. No, the government wants a much looser definition. If you had the gun and you did crack that month, that's like good enough for them. So where is it? Somewhere in the middle. Now, to meet the elements, the government will prove the following at trial. So now we know what the law is. What are they going to show? What are some of these facts? They say Hunter was a user of crack and he was a crack addict. Yeah, that's true. We're all pretty familiar with that. Hunter admitted he was a user of crack and was a crack addict in his book, Beautiful Things, which he began writing in November 2019. He published it in 2021 and he actually narrated the audiobook form. Oh my gosh. Could you imagine listening to a full book by Hunter? He's got the weirdest voice ever. Sounds like an emasculated version of Joe, if that's possible. Anyways, specifically, Hunter admitted admitted in his book, he says, I'm actively addicted to crack between 2015 and 2019, his own admission. He stated, by the time the plane touched down in Los Angeles in March 2019, this is crackhead Hunter speaking, I had no plan beyond the moment-to-moment demands of the crack pipe. He described in relevant part that, quote, 4 years of active addiction preceded this trip to California. He admitted, I was a crack addict, and that was that. So, the government has identified excerpts from the book in which Hunter makes statements that evidence his addiction. These excerpts include his admissions during a less than 3-year period between 2016 and 2019, which is within the 4-year period he identified as being an active addict. As discussed in another filing, these book excerpts are authentic under the federal rules of evidence. They're relevant under the rules. They're not unfairly prejudicial. They're his admissions. They're admissible under the rules. So the excerpts include portions of Chapter 9. He also wrote in there, California Odyssey, in which Hunter describes his drug use and addiction in the spring of 2018. He said, while in California, Hunter wrote, he said, I use my superpower, finding crack anytime, anywhere. And I described himself as, quote, someone who's up 24 hours a day, smoking every 15 minutes, 7 days a week. The California Odyssey ended up with a visit from his uncle, who helped him check into rehab at a center in Brentwood, California, where he says, where I stayed clean for about 2 weeks. It was great. The beauty, the peace, the support, right up until the moment I relapsed. And if you remember, back during his plea deal, his own defense team wouldn't even tell us how many times he's been in rehab. They just said, basically too many to count. They wouldn't even put a number on it. They basically just move him from rehab to rehab. Now, the defendant, Hunter, received invoices from The View, a luxury rehab center in Brentwood, California, for DTX detox stabilization from August 21st, 2018 to August 27, 2018. So he's there for 6 days. Now, the government obtained these invoices when they searched his iCloud email account. They got a search warrant, rummaged through that. But in his next chapter, Hunter, the smartest man Joe Biden knows, wrote this in his book. He says, my penultimate odyssey through full-blown addiction became a shabbier, gloomier, more solitary version of the chromatic terror I went on through Southern California. I came back east. The trees soon were bare, and the low slate sky seemed to hover inches above my head. In my mind's eye, I can't picture a single day during my months back there that wasn't gray and overcast, a fitting, ominous backdrop. This is the most pretentious garbage I've ever read. He clearly didn't write this, but whoever did is obnoxious. I had returned that fall after my most recent relapse in California with the hope of getting clean through a new therapy and reconciling with Hallie. Neither happened, because he's on crack again. For all the obvious reasons, my extended disappearances, my inability to stay sober, her need to stabilize and reorder her own life and family, Hallie and I called it quits. Now, at the trial, the government will prove that Hunter returned to Delaware on October 6, and we're going to introduce the following evidence. He returned from LA on Alaska Air, landed the morning of October 6, 2018 in Philadelphia. Hunter's messages, identified in the summary chart, which we'll look through, is attached. These include various messages. For example, a message on October 8th, 2018, in which Hunter says, I'm in Delaware on October 8th. I will be here for at least a week. October 13th, Hunter says, he's in Newcastle. And then on 13th, he says, I'm now off MD Avenue behind Blue Rock Stadium waiting for a dealer named Mookie. So Hunter's buying crack on the side of the street. He says, October 14th, Hunter says, I was sleeping on a car smoking crack on 4th Street in Rodney. These are all text messages. Okay. Now, there is also location data embedded in the photographs and Hunter's phone, which were backed up to his laptop, which puts him in Delaware on October 16th, 22nd, 24th, 27th, and 2018. Testimony of witness number 3, who we'll see who that is, who will confirm that Hunter returned in October of 2018. Now, bank statements obtained for Hunter's bank account show that he also withdrew a bunch of money from the ATMs during the month of October 2018. And in his book, Hunter describes that he had a short stint at a therapist-run wellness center in Massachusetts, where Hunter says he sought drug addiction therapy. According to his bank records, he began withdrawing cash in Newburyport in November. Hunter then returned to Delaware, where he continued to use crack. It was me and a crack pipe and a Super 8, not knowing which the F way was up. All my energy revolved around smoking drugs and make arrangements to buy drugs, feeding the beast. His crack use continued through at least when he describes a trip to LA in March 2019. He had no plan, he says, beyond moment-to-moment demands of the crack pipe. Hunter further stated that during the nearly 4 years of active addiction that preceded this trip to California, which included a half dozen rehab attempts, that's what I told myself after each failure. He stated, I was a crack addict, and that was it. F it. Describing a call to a drug connection for crack. Hunter stated, everything everything that followed my return to LA was a genuine dictionary definition blur of complete and utter debauchery. I was doing nothing but drinking and drugging. In addition to Hunter's book and audiobook admissions that he did all of this, he said I had nearly 4 years of active addiction. Now, the government is also going to present the following witnesses. Oh, this is going to be juicy. Testimony from Witness 1. Witness 1 was previously married to Hunter. Oh no, the ex-wife. Ugh. They divorced in April 2017, but through 2018, she would check his vehicle from time to time because she did not want their children in a vehicle with drugs. Yeah, that's called aggravated DUI. Kids in the car, not good. While searching his vehicles, she found drugs or paraphernalia on approximately a dozen occasions. Good thing she checked. She doesn't want her kids with a crackhead or anything. Wow, good thing she took care of that one. Which she discarded into a trash can. She's corroborated by a text message exchange with Hunter in which she tells him on March 9th, Hunter, it's your wife. I also found a few crack pipes in your car. I took them out because our daughter was driving the car, driving around with crack residue. It's not good for you. The ex-wife ceased using her former cell phone number ending in 2473, and Hunter began using it thereafter, which the government will show he used to communicate with another witness, Witness 3. Now, we also have another woman. Witness 2 was previously in a romantic relationship with Hunter for about a year, December 2017 to 2018. And during the course of their relationship, witness number 2 observed the defendant using crack cocaine frequently, every 20 minutes except when he slept. That dude is like really broken. Witness number 2 visited the defendant in Massachusetts when he was in rehab in the fall of 2018 after his gun possession, and over the course of 3 days, she observed Hunter smoking crack cocaine every 20 minutes. Witness 3, and the Biden family enabled this for how many years? And I also got to say, I think the Biden family exploited him, right? He was just the bag man running around. James Biden was like, hey man, as long as he's plied with crack, who cares? Send him over to Burisma. Hunter was doing deals for Joe. Nobody cared because they were just exploiting him. Witness 3 was also in a romantic relationship with Hunter after Witness 2. Witness 3 also observed the defendant using drugs on multiple occasions. When he stayed at her home in the fall of 2018, Witness 3 and her children searched his bags, backpacks, and vehicle. They tried to get him sober and discovered drug paraphernalia and drug in his possessions on multiple occasions. Witness 3 also observed Hunter frequently lost phones and changed phones, which explains the gaps in time where there were no messages. She also had various text message exchanges with Hunter, including those listed in Exhibit 2. Now, in addition to the messages with Witness 3, this chart also includes messages between Hunter and other individuals. We'll see some of his crack messages. These messages includes conversation about his drug use and addiction, where Hunter used coded languages in message is, the government intends to qualify another expert. They're going to bring this guy called Special Agent Joshua Romig here, US DEA. He's going to opine on the coded terms and drug language found in those messages, such as baby powder, party favor, 10 grams, give me a chore boy, give me one full, get me a fentanyl, give me a ball, and all the other Hunter crack terms, and other specific terms identified in the disclosure. Now, they also have photos. Government also intends to show videos and photographs of Hunter smoking crack. Yeah, we've seen them. They're in the book at MarcoPoloUSA.org. If you want to check it out, get your copy, get one for your friends. Or of crack or drug paraphernalia in videos, photos backed up on his iCloud account. You know, like the easiest case ever. It's like, Hunter, is that you? Yeah. Is that Hunter Biden? Yeah. Is he smoking crack right now? Yeah, looks like it. Exhibit 2 includes 6 videos or photos. The government does not anticipate showing more than those 6. All you need. Now, we also got a problem because cocaine was on Hunter's brown leather pouch. It's true. A brown leather pouch was also discovered with Hunter's revolver by a man collecting recyclables and these items. So how'd the gun end up in a recycle bin? As well as others that Hunter had purchased, they were later turned over to Delaware State Police Lieutenant Greer. Lieutenant Greer took these items, sealed and logged them as evidence into the Delaware State Police vault, where they remained until 2023. Now, in preparation for an indictment in this case, the evidence, which was the gun and the leather pouch, the FBI pulled the sealed evidence from the state police evidence. And I know what you're thinking. Did they throw it in the incinerator? No, it turns out they observed a white powdery substance on there. And the white powdery substance was actually analyzed. FBI Jason Brewer did, who will be qualified as an expert to say it's cocaine. Big surprise. Cocaine, like the same kind they found in the White House? house? Now, Hunter also knew he was an addict, and he knew he was a user of crack. His book is replete with admissions that establish he was an addict. He's probably unhappy he wrote that book. Part of the reason you write books like that is to get ahead of it. You dump it all out there, and then you hope that there's not going to be repercussions because you kind of aired out your dirty laundry, backfiring big time. He should have taken the deal. He didn't do that, so here we are. His book is replete with admissions saying he knew he was using crack and crack cocaine, including when he purchased and possessed the gun in October 2018. For example, regarding his return to Delaware, Hunter admitted, he said, "I came back to Delaware October 2018. I had returned that fall after my most recent relapse in California with the hope of getting clean through new therapy and reconciling with Hallie, but neither happened." Now, Hunter then made statements to witnesses 1, 2, and 3, the women, that show he knew he was a crack user and a crack addict prior to purchasing the gun and during his possession of the gun. They're going to bring in all the X's. And moreover, his actions were consistent with someone who was aware that they knew they were addicted to crack and a user of crack. For example, in 2018, he checked himself into rehab to try to get sober. So he knew. Messages identified in the summary chart show that Hunter knew he was a crack user and an addict. He's got a bunch of text messages. Hunter's messages between April 2018 and August 2018, as identified, show that he routinely purchased and used crack cocaine. When he possessed the gun on October 14th, he told witness 3, "I was sleeping on a car smoking crack." She said back to him, "I just want to help you get sober. Nothing I do or you do is working. I'm sorry." And then he responds and says, "What one thing have you done to help me get sober?" Man, it sounds like an addict. On the day his gun was taken from him, Hunter stated to witness 3, "Who in their right mind would trust you to help me get sober?" See, Hunter doesn't want it. That's the problem. You got to really be down on both knees. You really got to be at rock bottom. No one else is going to pull you out of it. You have to want to pull yourself up out of it. And you do that. In my experience, I did it through the 12 steps. He says, on November 3rd, 2018, in a message to witness 3, Hunter stated, "I'm a liar and a thief and a blamer." That's true. "And a user. And I'm delusional and an addict. Unlike beyond and above all other addicts that you know, and I've ruined every relationship I've ever cherished." He said in November, Hunter messaged another woman. And then he stated, "I'm effing better man than any man you know, whether I'm smoking crack or not." Wow. Hunter. Wow. Even crackhead Hunter. On this same day, Hunter messaged witness 3 and stated, "What's the worst place for me to be trying to stay clean? Delaware." And there he was in Delaware buying guns. In December 2018, Hunter exchanged multiple messages with witness 3, where he recognized that he was an addict. He needed to get sober. On December 18th, the defendant texted another woman stating, "I'm insane. I'm an addict, and I'll obsess over it." On December 28th, the woman asked him back, "Why can't you admit you are unhappy, in the throes of addiction, and need help coupled with love?" Hunter responded, "I'll admit it completely." He later said, "I'll effing get sober when I want to get effing sober." Yeah, that's true. Absolutely right. Messages and videos show that Hunter continued using crack in December 2018, January 2019, February 2019, March 2019. At present, the government has not included relevant messages with certain family members, I wonder, like Hunter or like Joe or Mama, but which is weird because, they took pictures of Barron's bedroom when they said that Trump committed a crime. Barron Trump got his photograph, his room photographed. Melania had her bedroom rummaged through. They went through her drawers. So I wonder if they did the same thing when they were investigating Hunter, or if all of that is going to be kept under lock and key. The right to use such evidence may do so if the defense advances a theory. They say, in sum, Hunter's conduct and his admissions evidence his knowledge he was a user of crack at the time he purchased the gun, while he purchased the gun, and before it was taken from him. His conduct and admissions also evidence his knowledge that he was a crack addict in 2018 and he possessed it. And so all of this was material. They're going to bring in someone from the gun store, StarQuest Shooters. On October 12th, he entered their business, purchased a gun. He got a Colt Cobra 38 Special. He got an HKS speed loader for the 38 Special, which, as the name suggests, allows you to rapidly reload it. He got 25 rounds of Hornady American gunner ammunition. Now, when purchasing a gun, a purchaser is required to fill out ATF Form 4473. Hunter completed the form, filling out basic information, put his name, height, weight, birth date, social security number, but when asked whether he was an unlawful user of or addicted to any depressant, stimulant, narcotic drug, or any other controlled substance, he lied. He answered no. Had he answered yes, the gun seller would not and could not have sold him a gun. After answering additional questions, he certified my answers are true, correct, and complete. Sign the form. Many of you have signed it. Specifically, the defendant acknowledges that he could not receive a gun if the answer had been yes. He signed and dated the form, acknowledging it. He presented his passport showing his photograph, which they then scanned when it initiated a background check, and certified copy of that will be used at trial. Oops. Witness 3 will also establish that Hunter possessed the gun and she discarded it in the outdoor trash receptacle. So witness 3 was the woman who threw it out at the Jansen Market in Wilmington after taking it from Hunter's vehicle. What's this gun doing here? Let me just throw it in a trash can outside a market. Witnesses will be called who will discuss law enforcement recovery of that gun from a man who is collecting recyclables, like no one goes through the trash. And the gun and other evidence purchased by the defendant will be introduced. So for Hunter's own words, they established his knowing possession of the gun. For example, after witness 3 took the firearm from Hunter's vehicle on October 23rd, Hunter messaged her and stated, "Did you take that from me? Are you insane? Tell me now. This is no game. But where's my gun?" Later that evening, after he interacted with the police, he stated, "The effing FBI. It's hard to believe anyone is that stupid. So what's my fault here that you speak of? Owning a gun that's in a locked car hidden on another property?" He's screaming at her. "You say I invade your privacy. What more can I do than come back to you and try again? And you do this? Who in their right mind would trust you would help me get sober?" Finally, at trial, they say this is going to be not good. The government will admit statements made by Hunter to the police. He talked to them. He admitted he purchased the gun. He admitted he possessed the gun. That's why you don't talk to the cops. He stated he purchased the handgun at StarQuest. He also turned over the gun's case to the police. Here's the other half of it. To establish, it worked out well for him, honestly. Nothing happened to him at all until he started to throw a hissy fit and backed out of his plea. But witnesses are going to come forward. FBI Special Agent Erica Jensen will introduce Hunter's messages and Hunter's admissions in his audiobook. Witnesses 1, 2, and 3 will come out. StarQuest shooters will be here. Delaware State Police are going to talk about his admissions and what he told the cops. This lieutenant is going to testify about the recovery of the gun, the ammunition, the brown leather pouch filled with cocaine. Forensic chemist is going to opine about the residue. It was in fact cocaine. DEA is coming in to talk about coded messages sent by Hunter that we'll look through in a minute. And the government anticipates other witnesses that may come out during the case in chief and for rebuttal. And so in conclusion, sounds like a pretty dang solid case there, Hunter, since you wrote a book about it and your pictures are all over the internet. This trial brief is submitted as an aid to the court in advance of all of this. And so Hunter's team is looking at this going, his lawyers are like, "Ugh, dang it. That's not good for us." They reserved the right to modify this. Derek Hines is the senior assistant special counsel who is the person who drafted this document. Now, here are some of the text messages that were attached. So let's go through some of these. There's 75 pages of them, but you can see a little bit about what they were talking about inside. So Hunter sends this text messages. Okay, so this column is from Hunter and this is to Hunter. So, "Yes, buddy, I'm asking you to tell me in light of the fact that you can't come this minute when you can come." This guy says by 7:30. "If you be here by 6:45, I can do another 1.4 on top of what you owe. Been on the freeway for 20 minutes. I knew I should have waited. Crap, now I'm stuck in traffic, bro, with all your stuff." Wonder what he's bringing him. Hunter, "Where are you, man? I need my crack." He says, "I'm on the freeway. Almost there. I'll be there in 6 minutes." Hunter, "Where are you at?" Hunter says, "I'm here." "Where do I go to bring your crack?" Hunter says, "Same place." "Yes." Question. "Okay. When?" 4 minutes. Right, here's another buy. "Oh man, there's traffic on Sunset. I'm pulling up." He says to Hunter, "Come out." Oh, there's crack right there, right on our screen. Isn't that just great? All right, so we got crack all over the place here. We got another crackhead here, crack scale from Crackhead Hunter. I guess they're weighing it so that they can conduct payment appropriately. Ah, gosh. So he says, "Bro, what's up?" He says, "Missed voice call. Hey, come get how much I owe." He says, "Tell me ETA, please. I need my crack right now." It's like DoorDash. He says, "Can you get baby powder for my bum? Get the really soft stuff for my bum." He says, "Yeah, I got it. I got that soft stuff. But I'm at a hospital. Can you meet up here? I got pills too. What favor you need?" Hunter says, "I need party favor." "Oh, tomorrow. I'll get you that. Now. I need it now." "Okay, I have a guy. I can give you his phone number, but he can only bring 5 at the time for $500 a pill. I can give you his phone number. You want it?" "Yes, please." "Okay, here's the number. 14 away. This is so-and-so. I'll text when 5 away so we can meet on DeLong Prairie just south of you. 10 minutes away, 7 minutes away, missed voice call. Where you at? 2 to 3 away, black Jeep about to pull up." Someone says, "Bro, I'm waiting on the dude to bring your crap. He said it's 30 minutes out." Hunter says, "K, ETA?" He says, "White boy bringing it to you. This guy. He just picked your stuff up. He's going to call you right now." Hunter says, "Hey, crack delivery guy. What's up, buddy? Where are you?" Crackhead says, "What's up, bro? I'm in Carson, crack dealer." They have a video call. "Want me to drop your crack off? Send me the address. I'll do it." "I just picked your stuff up, bro. What's the address?" "Hey, you coming this way?" says Hunter. "ASAP if you can. I need it." "Bro, I got it. Where do I drop it, bro?" "I picked up your stuff in hold until you call for it, bro. I got it. Can you come this way now?" He says, "Yeah, I'm heading your way." "Hey, you coming?" Hunter says, "Send the white boy if it's faster." I guess it depends how he's coming. I don't know what route he's taking. "Dude," Hunter says, "where's my crack?" He says, "Okay, sorry. I got the white boy. I'm sending him now." "Hey, I just got the app. You want 10 grams? Question mark. Hunter says, "Why?" "Sorry, phone died." He said $600. Is that cool? Hunter says, yeah, okay, no problem. Send me your address. He's actually down to meet you. Here's his number. It's 8201. You're welcome, LOL. Enjoy. So this is a message to Hunter. It says, Z baby, I'm so sorry. Listen, I'm not trying to take advantage of you, but I spent all the money that you got me on black. I really needed it. Also went to Walmart, bought some things, but I wasn't able to get a pipe anywhere. Is there anything else I can get? A Brillo pad? I will do what I can, babe. I'll spend the entire night with you if you want, but will you please pay me more money? Please don't think I'm taking advantage. And if you say no, I'll still come over. I like you a lot, Hunter, and I really understand you, and I see you in a way I feel that others don't. You're an amazing person inside. You have a beautiful heart. So, of course, we know what type of conversation that is. Says, well, Hunter says back to someone else, I need more chore boy, but regardless, come back and yes. I need more chore boy, which is a drug. Come back and yes. Hunter says, I'm in Delaware. I'll be here for at least a week. I still don't have a separate account unless you did that, and I didn't hear from you. Also need a P.O. box, I think near Chateau. I'd like you to price out storage lockers from a big enough for a car as small as to a walk-in closet. Hunter, I'm using this phone until my other phone arrives in the mail. Okay, so it was another message, 3774. That freaked me out. This blank, and I'm going to beat you up, says Hunter. Response, hello? Response, hi, are you on the way home? Call me, please. Hunter says something 55. Message back, yeah, okay, where are you? Truthfully, where are you? Hunter says, bye, I guess, LNG, hold. Bye, I guess, LNG, and hold. Where are you? Where? I'm home. In Delaware or DC? Hunter says, Newcastle, Delaware. Okay, please be safe, my love. I just want you safe. Hunter says, do you want to go to the patio? Yes or no? She says, sure, what time? Trying to find out how long they will be there. Response, what do you think? What do you think? Do you want to go? I'll do whatever you want. Love you. Question mark. Hunter says, I'll be home in an hour. You okay? We staying home? Why won't you answer my calls? Where are you? Are you with someone? No, cracked out probably. Or maybe with someone too. He says, yes, blank hangs out at 7-Eleven, Ion, Green Hill, and Lancaster. I'm now off Maryland Avenue behind Blue Rock Stadium, waiting for a dealer named blank. His brother L is getting in the car now. He has my money, and now I'm getting pissed, says Hunter. This woman responds to him, I called you 500 times in the past 24 hours, and you no answer. Practice what you preach. He says, I was sleeping on a car smoking crack on 4th Street in Rodney, okay? I couldn't call you back. Where were you? Hunter said, there's my truth. Where were you? I just want to help you get sober, Hunter. Nothing I do or you do is working. I'm sorry. I'm afraid you're going to die, and I can't live without you. What one thing have you done to help me get sober? Witness? Hunter says, I'm almost there. I'm here and I can't get in. And now there's this image of a back seat of a car. This is from Richie Jones to Hunter Biden. It says, hey buddy, it's blank. Just checking in again. I'm thinking about you. Give me a call if you feel like it. Hunter responds, thanks man. How you holding up? I'm in Delaware last few weeks, headed up to New York for the next few. Call and text. Let me know a good time to catch up. And apparently there's a photo that's sent right from the dash of a car. Did you take that from me? Okay. Hunter sends this to Richie, and then this is a location of a photo. Somebody takes this photo. This is interesting. Hunter says this. Did you take that from me? Blank. Okay. Are you insane? So the gun's now gone. Tell me now. This is no game, and you're being totally irresponsible and unhinged. Hunter says to her, tell me now. He just found out the gun's gone. Not good. He's not happy about that. He says, you really need to help me think right now. This is very, very serious, Hunter rants. She says, call me. Then she drops a response back. Hunter, I can't believe this. You can blame me all you want. I know it was stupid. Throwing it away, they call. But your part is dangerous and negligent. And because of this and my stupidity for being worried about you, I'm dealing with insanity, and possibly I'm the one that's going to get in trouble for throwing your gun away. Check yourself into a local rehab, Hunter. This all has got to stop. Don't run away again. Please don't leave. Police are coming to talk to me now. I'll take full blame. I don't want to live like this anymore. This is too much for me to handle. Yeah, it's sad. I mean, addiction is a very sad thing. And of course, he's in the throes of it. So he sends a response back, and there's this big redacted paragraph. It says, the effing FBI name. It's hard to believe anyone is that stupid. So what's my fault here, Hallie, that you speak of? Owning a gun that's in a locked car hidden on another property? You say I invade your privacy. What more can I do than come back to try again? And you do this? Who in their right mind would trust you to help me get sober? Hunter says to her, you want me dead? She says, I'm sorry. I just want you safe. And that gun was not safe. Says, and it was open, unlocked, and the windows down, and the kids search your car. So they would have seen it too. Now here is one. They respond to Hunter. She says, you have lost your mind, Hunter. I'm sorry I handled it poorly today, but you're in huge denial about yourself and about that reality that I just want you safe. You run away like a child and blame me for your crap. It's to be expected that you prove repeatedly that you can't stay and you really do work on yourself, it's easier for you to avoid looking within, and it's cowardly to constantly point the blame on me. Take some time. Now here, Hunter says, I'm a liar and a thief and a blamer and a user, and I'm delusional and an addict unlike beyond and above all other addicts that you know, and I've ruined every relationship I've ever cherished. So he's, coming down. She says, okay, let's do this right. Come home and talk with the kids. Let's tell your family and your kids the plan and let's stick to it. Everyone adores you and wants to feel like you're safe working on sobriety. We can do this. Then I'll do therapy with you while you are there. We can talk about everything you want once you are there. Says, you're blaming me again? She responds to him. And for what? Do you know how and what your addiction has done to us all? When you humbly realize how much damage you cause, humility is a big part of it, then all know you are ready to get sober. Blaming me, that is an excuse to avoid sobriety. If you want us, our love, our support, my help, then shut up and come home and we can get you there. He says, no, I'm not blaming you. No blame regarding sobriety. She says, you are the one not sober and it's brutally affecting all of us. He says, I'm a drunk. A lot more than that. Do you want your crack back, person? She says, I can't take it anymore. She says, you want me to relapse? And he says, for a long time. She says, focus on yourself and getting sober, not on me. Hunter responds, and do you really care that little about me that you say stuff like, good to know you're alive? That's how little you care. Hope you did kill yourself. Why do you get to be so mean, blank? What did I ever do to you but tell you how beautiful and smart you are? You want me to be so callous with you, blank? Because I can be mean when it really matters. I thought you were someone special, blank, and I don't mind the way you took advantage of me. You did it with finesse, but I was surprised to see you act so petty and small. That's not the woman I thought you were. I know I have my flaws, but I'm proud of who I am. Flaws and all, and I was surprised to be so wrong about someone I thought had become a friend. You tell all these girls you introduced to me that I'm a crackhead loser. What the F? I'm a effing better man than any man you know, whether I'm smoking crack or not. She says, well, that's all very true. The part where you said I tell all these girls you're a crackhead loser, I never called you a loser. Crackhead, yeah, but I never called you a loser. I obviously have to heads up on the crack thing, but in no way are you a loser. No, you're just a crackhead, but a very nice, high-performing crackhead who's not a loser at all. I was upset, she says. I was mean because I was betrayed by the both of you. I went into defense mode, and I'm sorry for being hurtful. So that's the blank I know, he says. Hunter responds, mother effing mother effer. What's the worst place for me to be trying to stay clean, he says. Delaware. I tell everyone to come here to a beautiful house on the beach with a cool town, with the same shops as Nantucket, and I can continue my treatment. And what do all you effers decide? You're so effing helpful, blank. Hey, we spoke through blank week before Thanksgiving, met your cousin. Can we arrange to do the exact same thing tonight? What? Hey, we spoke through blank week before Thanksgiving, met your cousin. Can we arrange to do the same thing tonight? He says, Rob, what? This person responds, what do you need? He says, it might be around 8 or 9. Hunter says, okay. Ounce. Okay, ounce is going to be $14.50 instead of the 16. When will you be ready though? Hunter says, send me a general address to put in the GPS. Hunter then questions the ounce. Ounce? He says, yeah, and it's 17G, pure. Give him 1100. You'll be happy. Someone says to Hunter, I hope things are well with your book. Truly, I do. I'm staying away from you because you are not sober, someone writes to him. Not because I don't love you, but at some point, if you don't go away to get the help you need, things between us will inevitably change. Says, I promise when you are sober, we will be a team again, but I cannot be with you until you are sober. He says, you'll be there, you say, when I'm healthy and I don't really need anyone. He says, the drug problem, and I need to know my partner isn't going to abandon me at every problem. She says, I'm not doing this. You have to get sober for your 5 kids and me, bottom line, or you lose everyone slowly. Not until you get sober. Says, any excuse to not get sober, you have. He says, but when it's tough times, I'm out. She says, I need you sober. He says, I need you to be here for me, to get sober. She says, I've tried so many times. You have to go to a facility. He says, blank, that's so untrue. You haven't helped. He sends another message. Hey, wondering if you're around to someone else. This person says, who is this? He says, we met at the gas station. I have the big truck, the Raptor. You remember me. He said, you had the Mini. He said, you helped your buddy out hooking me up. He's finding crackheads at the gas stations now. He says, what's up? Any chance you can help me out? Says Hunter. Same. He says, but you have anyone who can meet me halfway in Boston? I'll pay well for anyone who can bring me here in 20 minutes north of Boston. He says, no, I can't make that trip to Boston. LOL. Who do you think you are? He says, you got to come out here, man, because I'm insane and an addict and I'll obsess over it if you don't. All right. You saw that photo pop up, maybe a little bit nervous there. So you see, someone sends a message to Hunter. Why can't you admit you are unhappy, Hunter, in the throes of addiction and need help coupled with love? He says, I admit it completely. He says, I blame her for being selfish and self-righteous, hypocritical C-word. whoa, that actually truly works against my getting sober. So again, he's like blaming everybody else for this. He says, I'll get effing sober when I want to get effing sober. We got Hunter, who says something, something, something. That's a line brighter than throwing my gun in a full trash can in a busy grocery store, and then some kid blows his sister's head off and you go to prison for the rest of your life. Hunter says, I'll let you know when he calls me back. What am I doing, buddy? Head to Province or it might not. Somebody says to Hunter, you got it? Here's Hunter sending, he says, he around if I get the usual takeout order. You understand, buddy? He says, one full. He says, how long till you get here? 1 hour, 30 minutes tops. What am I sending you? Says Hunter. He says, 15. Rather sooner so I can make sure it works. Let me know when you're 30 minutes away. I'm outside 25 minutes away. 184 Preston. He says, send Venmo now to eliminate the confusion. Hunter says, I'm calling. Okay. 5 minutes out. Can you send so I can pay him? Let me know as soon as you handle it. So they're Venmoing their drugs now. And Hunter says, well, just tell him you want to try it. It's supposed to be 31. Hunter says, just tell him you want to try it. He says, it's supposed to be 31 and barely registers anything. S the chart. Hard to believe, says Hunter. Says, this is complete BS. I don't like doing these things when I'm not in town. I have to be there to oversee this stuff because everyone's trying to get over. I'll get you 200 back for sure, coming out of my own pocket. Bring it tomorrow. He's sleeping, and now they're talking about more drugs. Hunter says, and he's not someone I can keep waiting, bro. I told him I'd test it. I told him don't bring it. It's not 2. And I told him I'd have to eat this if it wasn't. He says, what the duck, man? It's not even 5%. He says, this is weird. What's going around right now? It's never 5%. Hunter says, maybe he didn't know what he was getting. He says, I'll do the test again in front of him. I'll just show him. There's no drugs in here. He just called. He didn't pick it up. He just called him. He didn't pick up. But what about the weight? He says, I don't know. Okay, I don't know. That's what I'm confused about too. He says, let me know, buddy. Maybe he grabbed the wrong bag of crack. I know you can't make promises from 2,500 miles away. Hunter says, I'll arrange you to bring it back tomorrow. I think it may be fentanyl and mix. Hunter says, whoa, seriously? You're giving me fentanyl and mix? Trying to kill me? Or something? And they say, fentanyl will kill people. Hunter says, yeah, I heard about it. It doesn't even show as one of the Colts on that chart, man, says Hunter. This guy says, I don't think that's it. Hunter says, the little piece tested here was at least medium yellow, but it didn't come from the bag he gave me. Hunter says, no more texts, okay? How much you was wanting? Hunter says, 400 worth. Okay, send me the address. Comfort Inn, Nantucket. This guy says, okay, I'll be there soon. He wants to know if you can come here. I have a ball on me. Hunter responds to him, dude, did you just scam me? Hunter got scammed for his crack. It feels like it. He says, no way, dude. How do you feel like that? I sold a 30 just now. You gave me 200. That's what I bought you the first time. The second time I sold and brought you 60. Dude, I like you. I won't scam you, says this guy. That's the crackhead Biden household. So that's the evidence that's going to be on there. And you can see all those text messages seem like they're a little bit incriminating because he's buying drugs multiple times. So he should have taken the plea deal. This whole thing would have been done. He wouldn't have had either one of these trials taking place. But of course, he is the smartest man Joe knows, and he's not wrong about anything he's ever done ever. And in fact, other people are responsible for his own sobriety and well-being. And if they actually are actively urging him to get sober, he still blames them and castigates them for their assistance. So he's a real piece of work, this guy. And he's got trial coming up in June and September as it stands right now. And so we're going to be here continuing to cover this. We'll be very curious if these trials actually happen. We hope you join us as we do. Thank you for subscribing to our channel, my friends. Thank you for liking this video. Thank you for inviting a friend or family member to come on over here and join us. And we'll see you back here on the next one.